Howdy folks, and welcome to part 3 of the Tudor miniature build. Today is the strictly brickly episode. We'll just be doing the brickwork portion. For those of you that this is your first class, I want you to know that this is a strictly miniature and a strictly Tudor video. If you're anticipating any wild twists and turns of excitement, drama, and action, you're not going to find it here. We're just going to be talking about miniatures and Tudors. If that works for you, then pull up your socks and untwist your cocks and we'll get right into it. If you remember from episode 2, I built the negative space with the timbers and the white pine filler panels. I left myself roughly half an inch of space. I did that for a reason. I took these little pieces of plywood to hold and create reference signs for these small craft bricks. I got these little bricks from a miniature store. Mostly I like to make my own building materials, but I found these just goddamn adorable, so I bought them. Any miniature-based hobby shop or the old internet's a good place to get these type of things. I'm not exactly sure what they're made out of. I think it's some sort of unfired clay. And if you notice the lines I put on them, they're at a 45-degree angle. I use my combination square, which you see there on the left, and I made those lines. I use those as reference points on where I wanted the bricks to go. And you might be thinking to yourself, why in the world would you put bricks on the front there and not just plaster? If you notice on a lot of buildings and you're walking by when the sidewalk or pavement, if I go back and forth on terminology, in England they refer to a sidewalk as the pavement. That's because it's made out of pavers, which is a fair argument, but they will say it in an arrogant way, which will often initiate a stupid nationalistic argument between an American and a British person, which is not uncommon. If you're American, you will often be ill-prepared for this level of stupid argument, but let me help you with a few things just in case. Concrete is also paved, is what I will respond. And America had the first concrete street. How do you like that, tough guy? If you also ever go to England, they like to correct us on the way we speak by reminding us that they wrote the language. On some cases this may be true, but in some cases they can eat my ass. We invented the elevator, the airplane, and yet they choose to change the name of it to the lift or the aeroplane. Also, English is a stupid language. PH makes an F sound. Why not just use a fucking F? You'll have one word that means 15 different things. Seems like you got halfway through writing a language and you just quit. Remember folks, use your nationalism only in jest. We're all part of the same global history, and don't take credit for inventions you did not invent and wars you were not alive for. Anyway, after setting them and letting them dry, I had some grout left over from a tile job, and I grouted them similar to tile. An unexpected feature is when they got wet, they actually got redder, and I think they turned out quite nice. The bricks I sealed with another polyurethane, but this time I used a satin because I wanted to have a little bit of a sheen to it. The paver bricks for the sidewalk or pavement was much easier. I used my tape measure, found the center, used my square to create some reference lines, and worked my way out. It was important for me to use the reference lines because the bricks themselves were not perfect in size, so they could get off the pattern just a little bit. For the curb, I just took a piece of trim, painted it gray primer colored, and then used some craft paint to make it look like a concrete curb. For the pavers, I just swept in some grout and then sealed it all with the same satin polyurethane. Now, didn't that turn out just goddamn lovely? Though it would have tucked nicely into this episode, I'm going to save it for the next to show you how I made the chimney. Thank you for watching, and until next time.